Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of One Pod Life. This week, I'm speaking to Georgia Coughlin, who stumbled into golf while she's in Riyadh, where her family lived. After picking up the sport, she quickly excelled. She even went to the Lee Westwood School, and she also then played her first LET tournament in 2018. Now, during the chat, we do talk about her rise through from when she first picked up a golf club to when she started playing professionally. And she also talks about how she felt like she was an imposter against the other golfers who had been playing all their lives, where she then qualified to get on tour through going straight to Q School and qualifying. It was an interesting chat, and I'm really glad that Georgia opened up and talked about this. Hope you enjoy this episode, guys. Don't forget to share it with your friends and head over to Instagram and follow me at One Putt Life. Cheers, guys, and enjoy. Hey Georgia, and welcome to the One Pod Life podcast. How are things?
Yeah, good, thanks. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Not too bad. Thanks for taking the time out of your day, your busy schedule this week. After you got back from London yesterday, 4-hour drive, you said. No, thank you. But basically, let's just go straight into it. And I didn't know this until I started looking into your research, but you actually moved to Riyadh when you were 3, when your dad got a job working for the BAE Systems. I mean, do you even remember that period, moving all that way?
Not really at a young age, but I was there for about 6 years. It's like 3 to 9. And I ended up coming back to the UK because the bombs went off in Saudi. So we had to move back. Dad stayed out there for 6 years.
Oh, wow.
And I went back out there and did my GCSEs and A-levels. So that's kind of when I really knew like what Saudi was like. And it was good. It was great. I loved living out there. And that's when I picked up golf when I was 16 out in Saudi.
Well, I was going to ask you, because obviously you answered one of my questions already. So how long did you live out there for? You've already told me, so 6 years, so great. So what made you go back out there?
We were just on holiday one day, and we were in Bahrain, and Dad said to us, do you like the lifestyle? And we were like, yeah, we love it. And he's like, well, why don't you come back out? So we made a decision to go back out for an extra 4 years. So I did 10 years in total. And I'm glad I did, because I wouldn't have picked up golf if I didn't go out that second time.
Who's we?
Me, my sister, my mum.
Okay, good stuff. So you actually didn't start playing golf until you were 16?
Yeah. Which
is actually quite late if you think about it, obviously for golfers. So what made you pick up golf?
There was a golf course on my compound. It was just like a 9 holes kind of pitch and putt kind of thing. But for me, it was quite a big course back then. I mean, if I played it now, it'd be pretty easy. And then there was a driving range, and I just hit one shot with my friend on there and hit it like 200 yards, and I was hooked.
So no one in the family actually played golf? You just went with your friend?
Yeah, I went with my friend. My dad does a bit, but he's good. He plays to about 12, but only probably plays 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay.
So he can play, obviously. But no, it was pretty much my friend that got me into it.
All right, nice. And where was that when you first hit that golf shot?
It was on the driving range on Arizona compound in Saudi.
All right, nice. So age 16, you've hit your one shot, it's gone 200 yards, and no doubt it went straight as well. So what was the process after that? What happened?
I pretty much was hooked, and I said to Dad, I'd done my GCSEs and I was starting year 2 of A-levels, and I said, Dad, I want to be a professional golfer. I don't want to go to school anymore. And he looked at me and went, really? I said, yeah. So he said, right, give it a go then. So I took a year out when I was in Saudi and just played every day. I got from 36 handicap to 10 in less than 6 months.
Nice.
And I went to the Lee Westwood School shortly after that.
Yeah. And was that based out there as well then?
No, that was in Cheshire in England.
Okay, so what age? So you was out there till you were 16, you done that, and you came back to the UK at what age?
About 18.
18, okay. And then, so straight into the Lee Westwood School. And what was the process of getting into that? Because I've always wondered, obviously, because there's always schools around, but how do you actually get into those?
You just kind of give your handicap and stuff. You have a bit of an interview. They see you play golf, and then they offer you. I feel like kind of anyone could really get in if you're into golf. I mean, you've got to get a certain amount of GCSEs to get in as well, because you do like a BTEC in sports science on the side.
Oh, okay.
But no, it was good. I mean, I kind of went there. I think I went there with a handicap of 4, but I wasn't 4. I mean, I must have probably been about 10, to be honest. But no, it was good.
Yeah. Handling some of those dodgy scorecards, have you? So you can
Yeah.
get down and get down to 4.
Yeah.
So the Lee Westwood School, I don't think many people know exactly how it works or how long for. So can you just give me a rundown of your from the moment you walked in the door until you left, what actually happens and how does it go about?
So it's 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. You can either stay there, so you have like an on-site. We had a hotel for the first year and would get a bus to and from the golf club every day. And then the second year we were at Hill Valley, which is in like Shropshire way. That was pretty cool. And basically, it's Monday to Friday, and you play golf, and then in the afternoons, you'll do a bit of work, which will be in the BTEC in sports science. And then on Wednesdays, that's the 18 holes where you play a tournament.
Okay.
So quite competitive. And yeah, it was just a really good time. It was a thing that kind of made me realise that I did actually want to play golf, because even though I said, oh, Dad, I want to be a professional golfer, I think when you're in an environment like that with a lot of other people that want to play golf, it obviously makes you want it even more and try and beat everyone. And that was when I kind of thought, right, this is it.
Yeah, I love it. The fact that you just turn around and say, I want to be a professional golfer, and your dad probably thinking, well, what's the processes here? How do we even go about it? So how did he cope with that? Is the fact that he had to then obviously assist you in getting to that level?
I think I'd always thought from a young age I'd do something in sport. So I don't know if the fact that it was golf. I was always anything with a bat and a ball. So I think we always kind of knew. I really wanted to be a footballer when I was little.
Okay.
And Dad kind of pushed me away for it in the end. He was like, oh, you're turning into a bloke and you're cutting up your words, you're not speaking properly. So I think he did always know that I wanted to do something in sport. So he kind of always thought that I wanted to follow her dreams, and it just ended up being golf.
Okay, so you've completed your Lee Westwood School. You come out with your BTEC in sports science. At what age were you then?
I'd have been probably just short of 20, I'd say.
Okay. So you've come out of there. I'm guessing from the Lee Westwood School as well, they do prepare you to come out as a professional golfer, or give you at least a pathway of how you can move into the next sort of stage of your career. What did that look like? And did you get any support in that sort of sense, or was you just left to your own devices and go play on the lower tours and see how you get on?
Yeah, it's kind of left to my own devices. I mean, my coach was Michael Welch. I've been with him since I had my first coach in Saudi, but he wasn't really a golf coach, bless him. But then I had Mike, and I've been with him since I started really playing golf. And he kind of gave me a bit of a pathway of how to go down things, getting into county golf, trying to play in all the English events, that kind of thing. So I just tried to compete as much as I could. I had a bit of a rocky amateur. I mean, I was out for 2 years with my back.
Oh, wow.
I probably only had we didn't really know. It was literally 2 years. I had so many scans. I saw every physio you could imagine, from Daniel Craig's physio, this is true.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to do, to anyone down the road. I just couldn't get it sorted, and I ended up having an injection in my lower back, and that kind of fixed it really.
Okay.
So I only had really 5 years of amateur golf before turning pro.
Okay. And during that amateur golf, was there anything significant that you can put your finger on that then sort of propelled you to go to the next level?
It was probably my final year. I made a grand final of the Fowler Series, and then I finished 7th in the Welsh, and that got me a world ranking.
Nice.
And then from then on, I'm going to go to Q School. And I just kind of went there with like no expectations at all. And I ended up doing really well. And from then on, I'm doing pro now.
I like it. Because you started playing the LET Access in 2017, from what I saw. I think you played like one tournament on that year. But then after that, you cracked on and you played your first LET tournament in 2018. So what was the time difference when you were 16, you decided you wanted to become a professional golfer to actually getting onto the tour? What was that period?
I think it was 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad turnaround for I want to play professional golf to then, right, I'm now standing on the first tee of my first LET tournament. So I guess what I'm trying to get to is, what was that feeling like when you actually stood up there and realised I've actually done what I wanted to do?
Pretty surreal, really. I mean, I think that's what's kind of affected me going forward, as in I've always kind of felt like I fluked it or didn't actually ever belong.
Okay.
And me actually coming out now where I'm realising that all because it happened all so quick, I have it in the back of my mind that I felt like I had a bit of an imposter syndrome, really. I didn't really feel like I did belong out there.
Okay.
And it's only now it's like you're starting to learn all that kind of things.
And why do you think that is? Just because you didn't start when you was a younger age?
I just think because it all happened so fast. I literally went to Q school just thinking, I'll just see how we get on. And I ended up getting an LET card. And I kind of turned up and there's girls there. I mean, I didn't even have proper woods in my bag. I had like a driver, and then I went like, I think my last club was like a 5-iron, my next club after that. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, I didn't feel like I was meant to be there. I felt quite out of place. So I've always felt like, I won't say I'm inexperienced, but compared to the rest of the girls, I felt like I always was chasing.
Okay. That's interesting, because I think, yeah, I kind of get what you're saying there. The fact that, like you said, it happened so quick. You went to Q school with no expectations. Probably people think the process is, we go to Q school, you don't do very well. You get given a couple of starts, then you work your way up, but then just be thrown straight into the limelight. Yeah, I get that. So how did that first tournament go?
It was good. I mean, I did really enjoy it. Again, in I think it was Morocco I was in, and I didn't really know there was official hotels and all these shuttles and stuff. I don't know where to stay, I don't know what to do. And it was great. I loved it. I knew that when I was there, I was like, okay, I felt a little bit on edge, but I was like, no, this is pretty cool. This is what I want to do.
Okay.
And then my first year was tough as a pro. It was 12 events. I only made one cut.
Right.
And it was difficult because I was like, it felt like a big jump, because people get saying top amateur level to professionals, not that big of a jump, but I felt like it was.
Okay. In what sense did you think it was? What was making it harder?
Just like the travel and how good the girls were, and then most of it would have been, you're used to going up and down the UK, and then now I'm going from Sweden to Switzerland to Morocco to France, and it's week after week, and I'm like, I didn't really know. Just trying to get used to it all was tough.
Okay. And you said just then you only really started to feel like you belong now after, what were you in 2000? After 5 years of doing professional golf, you only feel like you belong there now. So what's made you feel that way now? And it's taken, and not to be horrible, why has it taken 5 years for you to feel that way?
I've added a guy to my team. He's like a skill acquisition, performance, mental, clinical psychologist kind of guy, and he's really helped me out. Just trying to find out what's important. Like, golf's not my life. Like, I just play golf.
Yep.
Trying to work out, like, trying to do things that what's important, and that's a golf shot might be important, which it is, but at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. And I'm just working on my behaviours, because I'm quite like, want to do this at this time.
Okay.
And I control everything, but you can't control golf. So, I mean, it's quite in-depth stuff, but I'm starting to learn a lot about it and a lot more about myself.
Okay, that's interesting. I like that. No, I think you're right. Golf can consume you. Or it consumes me, and I'm not even a professional golfer. I mean, but yeah, and I've slowly started to learn again, like you just said, a golf shot is a golf shot. It's not the end of the world. No one's going to die if you hit a bad golf shot.
No.
Obviously, at the time, it feels like that. But
it does.
If you can try and work a way around that, it's going to make life a lot easier. So now I like good stuff. So obviously, during your professional career, you've had 2 years, obviously, through COVID, which obviously didn't really help. How did you get through that with your keeping up with your game and stuff?
I think I did pretty much what everyone did. I got myself a net and a little putting green and did a few hours practice, and it was tough. It was hard. I mean, I just kind of did a lot of mental work, a little bit of technique. I mean, I wasn't allowed it. I know a few girls got to go to their golf clubs and practice. I wasn't allowed at mine, so
okay.
It was difficult.
Why was you not allowed at your golf club?
Why wasn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just said that the members wouldn't be happy, and I'm just like, well, it's my job, but they didn't have that, so it is what it is.
Well, it was nice of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming out of COVID, obviously the biggest thing I think for women's golf, or especially in the UK, has been the Rose Ladies Series. Now, I've managed to follow you around twice on the Rose Ladies Series. One when I came over with Carly Booth over at Bearwood Lakes. But I was just wondering, what do you think it's done for your game? And also, has it really elevated the women's game a little bit with these Rose Ladies series?
Yeah, massively. I think what Justin and Kate are doing for the women's game is incredible, really. I mean, we had nothing coming out of COVID. Even the tours weren't even up and running yet. So to have events to be able to play in, and for good money as well. I mean, and the names that we got to play, it was really exciting. And I think for my game, it helped a lot. I mean, we had 2 years of COVID and not a lot to play in, and it did prepare us for the season when we eventually did get going.
Yeah, that's good. And especially at Brocket, you had to hit the opening tee shot of the tournament, and right behind you, I saw in your video on Instagram, there's Justin Rose and there's Kate Rose stood right behind you. Yeah. I mean, was that more terrifying doing that than the first tournament you ever played in?
It probably was, but luckily enough, I didn't know they were there.
Oh, did you not?
And my caddy turned around to me and goes, "You know, Justin and Kate are there." I was like, "Really?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my God, no, I'm so glad I didn't see them."
Okay, good. No, so I don't know if you knew that or not, because I was literally, you watched a video and they're obviously literally right behind you. And you're just casually going along with your pre-shot routine. I love it.
I must have been so in the zone that I didn't even see them.
No, that's good. Okay. So what's the plans going forward for you now? Because I'm guessing the end of the season's coming upon us. Obviously, we're going into winter. So will you be pushing harder, and what will you be doing through the winter times?
Yeah, so we had my last event last week in Spain. I've got a bit of time off now. I'm going to head back to qualifying school in December, which is in La Manga. Okay. So I'm going to get in the gym quite a bit, and probably head out to Portugal end November, try and play a bit of the Portugal Pro Tour. So there's not a lot to play in. Yep. Up until then, I feel like I need to get a bit of a card in my hand and see how we're getting, and then prepare for Q School, which is in December. And with that Q School, that's to get back onto the LET. So have you got any exemptions at the moment, or is it just you need to go to Q School and see what happens? Yeah, just go to Q School. I mean, you pretty much get an LET access card just going to Q School anyways. But my aim's try and get onto the main tour. So I got to do first stage, and then I'll do final stage. And then if you make the cut at final stage, you're in pretty good position. Okay, that's good stuff. Okay, I've got 2 questions for you, which have come from people on Instagram. Mm-hmm. One of them is, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you use a caddy all the time, but they said, what do you look for in a caddy? That's a good question. I do use a caddy quite a few times. Someone's just kind of calm me down in the right situations, because I can get a little bit naggy at times. Okay. And then just to know my numbers pretty much inside out. And I always like to know front, middle and back of the greens. Okay, and why is that? Just so that I know what club I want to use into the greens, like my carry numbers. Okay. So if you've got one that's 180, you know you're going to hit a club that's not going to go past that, I'm guessing. Yeah, just so like if I know what it is, the front of the green, I know how far I've got to run out into the pin. Yeah. Okay, good stuff. Okay, and the second question is going to be probably a controversial one, but they've asked it, so I'm going to ask you. Should Live Golf start a female series? Yeah, see, I'm quite biased, aren't I? Because I think they should, yes. I don't think there's anything wrong with the men's either. I just think the money's a little bit outrageous. I think the whole concept is great. I think it's fun to watch, and I think it could only help the women's game. So, yeah, I'm all for it. Good stuff. I was going to say, obviously, having your Saudi background, I didn't know how that question was going to go down, but I like that answer. Yeah. Now, One Pod Life is brought to you in partnership with Energy Golf, the leading golf development platform. They are committed to providing a service that allows you to reach your maximum potential by improving your mindset, creating physical longevity, and funding your golf career. What they've done is take professional tour team experience and brought it to you through their platform so you can have your very own tour team in your pocket. Energy Golf offers the ability to learn from leading professionals in the fields of fitness, nutrition, breathing, caddying, psychology, business, as well as proven tour winners and many more. There are also courses based around the mental aspects of golf, such as mental toughness, emotional control, and self-esteem. Visit energy.com to learn more, and to claim your exclusive 1-month free trial, simply send an email with the subject OnePodLife to info@energy.com and enjoy. Now let's get back to the podcast.
thank you for sharing a little insight into your career so far and your rise from over 6-7 years into professional golf. And I'm glad that you're now starting to feel that you belong in that space. And I think now that you do, hopefully that will propel you forward and you'll go even higher, which is great, especially at Q School at the end of the year. So thank you. What I'd like to ask you now is, again, people know who listen to the podcast know this is the reason why I started the podcast, was I wanted to talk to people like yourself who are professional golfers, who have gone through the ranks and who can help me become a professional golfer as well. So the question is, if you were to give 3 top tips to any aspiring golfer, or even to yourself when you were younger, what would those 3 top tips be? And could you go into more depth and explain why?
Oh, good question. One would be to have fun, to not take it as too seriously and to take yourself too seriously. And the third would be to hammer your short game. Hammer your short game,
okay. And so the work you're doing now with your coach, is that to not take it too seriously?
Yeah, just to think that it's you play golf because you're good at playing golf. So it's kind of like you don't need to add any more pressure on to hit a certain shot. I just got to kind of let go in that moment and then accept where the ball goes.
Yep.
And then, because I used to get quite naggy on myself, and then I'd have doubt just because I've hit one poor shot. It's like I almost used to collapse, and it's almost like, why? It was just one golf shot. Just because you hit one shot like that doesn't mean you're going to hit the next 100 like that. Same if you hit a good shot, the next one could be a bad shot. So yeah, if I was to say any amateur wanting to become a professional golfer, you just got to try and take it in your stride, and it's not the end of the world.
Okay. And then with hammering your short game, how have you managed to hammer your short game, and what sort of drills and stuff do you do to make sure that's always on track?
Yeah, I do quite a lot of short game tasks, so a lot of performance related stuff. Like with putting, I'll do a kind of a spiral 250-foot game, and I'd always write it down, try and beat the score from the previous days.
Okay.
And then if I looked at my whole game, I'd probably do 60% of it is short game.
Okay.
Just because it's so important. I mean, because if you are feeling a little bit off one day and you can't quite get it going, that's always there to kind of save you.
Okay, good stuff. I've just thought another question. I'm actually quite interested. I don't know why I've not written this down before, but when you were 16 years old and you turned around and you said, I want to be a professional golfer, who was you looking at for an inspiration and as an idol or even a mentor to affect your game?
I didn't really have one, with golf. I was a massive tennis fan, and it was always like Roger or Serena, always. But with golf, no, it was literally just the sport hooked me with how you could hit this like metal, whatever it is, club so far. That's what kind of got me into it. And then like growing up with it and having my coach, I'd say my inspiration is my coach, Michael Welch. What he did in the game, I think it's incredible. I think he had like 11 back-to-back wins. He was world number 1 at 16, and
wow,
having him as a mentor, I feel, is the reason why I probably am still playing the game.
Okay, it's interesting that. Okay, fantastic. Well, Georgia, thank you for coming on. Like I said, explaining your rise from 16 to now, and good luck in Q School at the end of the year. I'm sure you'll get back to those heights again. And thank you for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me.